Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Fridays at Findlay, and thank you for joining us this morning. We are so glad that all of our two-legged fans could be here, as well as any other four-legged fans that made it this morning. This morning, we are pleased to welcome Dr. Jim Carlson and his son, George Carlson, who will be discussing pets as therapy. How pets improve our lives. I want to say thank you quickly to our sponsors, West Banco. They have been our Fridays at Findlay sponsors now for several years, and we have a few of their officials with us this morning. Could we have a little bit of recognition for these guys down here? Thank you so much. It may seem unusual to invite an animal to a university lecture series, but let me assure you, animals and of all species are commonplace here at the University of Findlay. After all, our student-to-faculty ratio is about 13 to 1, but our student-to-animal ratio is about 3 to 1. Across campus, in our classrooms, labs, barns, and wetlands, Findlay students are gaining hands-on experience with the animal kingdom. Our most popular undergraduate major is our animal science pre-veterinary medicine. UF has one of the top pre-vet programs in the country, and we are proud to be the largest feeder to Ohio State University's vet school. Some years even more than their own. These are some of our hardest working students. Their rigorous coursework includes science, classes in organic chemistry, calculus, and biology. They are working daily on our farms on campus, which house 1,000 animals. Some of our students wake up at 5:30 in the morning each morning to care for these special campus creatures. In addition, students in our equestrian programs who are studying English and Western riding spend their time on these farms caring for more than 300 horses. I know where everybody's focused. I get it. Don't worry about it. I'll finish this up and we'll get busy with the good stuff here. Many of these students enjoy participating in sheep and cattle show teams, the pre-vet club, poultry club, College Gate Future Farmers of America, Block and Bridle, and a rabbit husbandry organization. I didn't know we had all those. Wow. Furthermore, if you are walking around the main campus, odds are you will encounter a number of service dogs in training. These furry friends are accompanied by students to their classes and living in the dorms through our 4PAWS, the ability training program. Do we have anyone out here today that's part of that group? Are there some 4PAWS? There they are! There's the table right there. Okay, where are your friends? Are they down there? All right, this is great. Look, dogs and cats living together. This is a university right here. As you can see, the University of Findlay is a people-friendly, horse-friendly, cow-friendly, goat-friendly, sheep-friendly, pig-friendly, dog-friendly place for students to prepare for meaningful lives and productive careers. And today especially, we are a cat-friendly campus. Before we move forward with our speaker this morning, I would like to bring to the stage Nathan Zerker. He is going to give us our invocation, and I won't go through his pedigree because he's been here a couple times, and we really appreciate him blessing our time together. Nathan, please come forward.
Good morning. Let's pray together. Heavenly Father, we thank you for waking us up this morning, for breathing air into our lungs just to give us another day on this earth. Father, I ask that we will use it to honor and glorify you in all that we do and say. Father, I want to thank you for the ways that you have created us, the ways that you have provided things that we need to take care of ourselves and to provide us joy, and how you have given us pets and animals and animal friends to do so, Father. I ask that you would provide the words for Dr. Carlson and George Carlson just to explain how we can better do that. And Father, I thank you for the hands that provided this food, that it would provide us nourishment and give us strength for our day. In Jesus' name, amen. Dr. Fell, come on up.
Okay, let me get to the right page. Here we go. Nathan, thank you for that inspiring introduction, but truly inspiring prayer. Good morning, everybody. It's going to be an exciting day on our campus, as every Friday is, but this morning we're particularly happy with this particular lecture. It's my pleasure to introduce our distinguished speakers, Dr. Carlson and his son, George. Dr. Carlson has practiced veterinary medicine for more than 25 years. He earned a bachelor's degree in animal science and a doctorate in veterinary medicine, both from Iowa State University. Dr. Carlson currently owns a veterinary practice in McHenry, Illinois, focusing on holistic treatment for pets. His practice of treating animals encompasses all elements of holistic care, such as an alternative cancer treatment, custom holistic testing, and natural food therapy. He will share with us more about the heart and soul connection that he has witnessed in his patients and families. His son, George Carlson, is a business major at Bowling Green State University. In fact, I think he's graduated now, haven't you? You look smarter. You do. I can tell there's a halo about you. George is the owner of Pudge, the orange Persian cat who has captured the hearts of many people as he has evolved into a national media celebrity. Also joining us is Dr. Marcia Latta, our own senior philanthropy advisor for the university, and she will moderate the discussion. So now please join me in welcoming Dr. Carlson, George Carlson, and Dr. Latta.
Well, good morning, and thank you for the introduction, and thanks for, you are the hardy folks, right? To get up when it's 3 degrees outside and make it here when it gets 5 degrees or so, right? So it's terrific, but, and some of you came very early to get some photographs, and we're delighted you're here, and as Nathan said, and Ken said, we know who the star of the show is here, so take your photos as we go along. But I think before we begin our primary initial focus on pets as therapy and why pets make our lives better, some of you I know have followed the Pudge story closely, and some of you, Doreen says, you know, when you called, it was like, oh, I'd love to hear about pets as therapy. Who is this little orange cat? So I think that it'd be great, George, if you can give us just a quick thumbnail sketch on why and how and why you took Pudge into the football locker room for the BGSU Falcons and began this Pudge story.
Yeah, of course. So Pudgy's been my cat since the summer.
Yeah, have the mic, yeah, close to your mouth
Closer.
there. Thanks.
So he's been my cat since the summer of 2024. I brought him to Bowling Green. Kind of just was a cat there. I wanted a cat. I had a Persian before him, actually, and she was terrific. I loved him. And then she went back home, and when I was looking for another cat, and we got him, and I loved him ever since. He's been a terrific kitty, as everyone can see. He's just hanging out. He doesn't go anywhere. He's just chillaxes everywhere, really. But I brought him into the locker room in the middle of fall camp. Fall camp can get really grueling at times. It's football from basically 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. at night. There's a little break in between, but it's all football. And the day before I brought him in, it was a scrimmage. We had a player that went down with an injury, and we cut practice early. It was more serious. So I thought, you know, it was a good idea to bring my cat in. I had been thinking about it, but I thought, you know, this will really change it up, and the way that our schedule worked this year allowed me to bring him in. So.
And did Pudge cheer people up?
Yeah, he did. The team really loved him. They really embraced him. I've had teammates who don't like cats or were scared of cats even. They'll come up to Pudge, they'll pet him because he's so inviting. His personality is very inviting. He just is like, oh, what's going on? And then he lets you pet him. He kind of just doesn't care.
And I understand one of your teammates did a quick TikTok video, right? Which
Yeah.
You want to talk about that?
Yeah, so my teammate Finn Hogan, he has a strong following on social media. With his social media mind, the team enjoyed it enough that he made a TikTok video about it, and it ended up going viral. It has over 2 million views right now. And then he made another video like a week later because I got him a jersey, and people loved that one. And then I got the bubble for him, and I brought the bubble backpack to the event we had in town, and people loved that even more. So I knew at that point, I really had something going. So I made a page, and I started going to different places. We brought him to football games, and it just really took off from there.
Well, I think it's great that you felt so secure about University of Findlay that Pudge didn't need the Pudge security to accompany him this morning, right? But I have seen the Pudge security that has the shirts and everything. So, Dr. Carlson, share with us a little bit. How long have you been a veterinarian?
Well, in May, it'll be 28 years.
Okay. And during that time, you've obviously treated hundreds of animals, and their owners want them to be healthy and for you to provide care for them. At what point in this journey did you begin to realize the emotional bond between a human and an animal can have a positive healing effect on people?
Well, it certainly started in practice, just the endearing effect of pets and families and bringing them into their lives and actually being part of the family. It's been shown that most people feel that their pets are a family member versus just a pet in the house. And so, just the emotional side is when you have someone that's very sad. I don't know of anyone that could not look at a pet and have their heart rate come up, their smile, their joy be uplifted. Especially with Pudge. I mean, you look at his little face and you can't help but smile and look at him, so you can't help it. And so I think from a natural standpoint, our bond with nature, it's always been a part of our genre, really, to have pets in our lives and have animals as part of our lives.
I'm curious, how many people here today have or have had a pet that you feel has helped you emotionally? Well, that's pretty resounding.
There you go.
So, the therapeutic movement with pets has really exploded the last, I'm going to say 20 years or so, it seems. And can you give us just a very brief description? We heard we've got two of our 4 Paws folks here with service dogs and training, but you want to just share, there's service dogs and therapy animals, emotional therapy, and different types. So do you want to just share with us quickly what that is? I think you probably need to hold your mic closer to you.
Closer.
Yeah.
Is that okay? Okay. Yeah, in all animals, we have a miniature horse at home that has been, from a therapeutic standpoint, my late wife had Frosty become a therapy. She went through therapy training and took Frosty to hospitals and places like that. So little mini horses. Goat yoga was one aspect. We did have that in our practice in one area where we had a couple little goats come in and they had yoga class. Rabbit yoga, where they have the little bunnies And of course, the therapy dogs, from, hospitals, care centers and things like that,
And is there a different level of training with each of those? Like the service dogs versus emotional support animals and therapy?
Yes, emotional support animals don't necessarily need a higher level of training, but pet therapy dogs do go through certain courses to see how they would respond in situations where or being in a hospital setting or care center setting or just in public in general. And then also the pet support animals, that are for handicapped folks and things like that, have a certain level of training as well.
Yep. So we're counting on you folks for the service dogs. I think that's like the highest level of training, right?
Yeah.
So appreciate that. Have you witnessed and know, is there a difference in terms of, I'll use therapy animals in a general sense now, but, dogs, cats, horses, birds, reptiles, have you seen a difference in terms of how people connect and bond with them?
Yeah, as they become more and more part of their lives, especially if they need them to help them calm down under stressful situations, it's amazing how fast that works. They also really, from my perspective, the particular animal is not necessarily one better than the other. To see one help with emotion better than the other, it's really what the person, what their favorite animal is, what they bond with better, and that's what I've seen.
Okay. So, George, the fandom of Pudge, I'm going to say, has been nothing short of crazy. I mean, you mentioned that one, your fellow player, his initial TikTok video got over 2 million likes and shares, engagements, right? Total, do you have any idea? I mean, CBS News has come and done a story on you, CBS Sports, Fox Sports, ESPN Game Day, interviewed Pudge. That part was a little quiet, but, but, and I see now they actually use the clip of Pudge in their promotions for games. And what do you attribute this to?
I really attribute it to his looks. I mean, he does have amazing looks, but I think just with the exotic short hair, the breed, they kind of look like a teddy bear in the face. They have their front profile is a big round head. They have kind of ears that stick up, and they have these big chubby cheeks, as you can see with him. They also, some of the cats, especially when they get a lot bigger, they'll have multiple double chins. He just has like one double chin, but the looks, you don't normally see a cat like this. I think that's really what the draw was, is that he was this cute little cat and he's in the football locker room. Like, we never see that. Nobody sees this, and it really was a draw in college football. They're like, oh, here are these players, they're bringing in a cat, he looks funny, so I think that was the big draw, and then as it started building, they were like, we really enjoy this cat, and it's such a good story that we're just going to keep going with it.
Yeah, and he seems, like you said, very chillaxed with, I don't think he's allowed his celebrity to go to his head or anything.
Yeah, no, not at all.
So, tell us, has there been an example of something you have seen with people around Pudge that shows you an example of the emotional connection that he's had with people?
Yeah, so in the locker room when I brought him in the first time, that was really when I kind of noticed that he could have a good emotional impact on people. That first day, everyone, I guess it was kind of a shock factor, like, oh, there's a kitty in here, what is he doing? But every person who liked cats, it took a little bit longer for some people to warm up to him, but they eventually did. But at first, people would come in there, go, what is he doing in here? What is he? You know, what is this cat? And I was like, he's just my cat. I brought him in today. I thought it was funny. I had an hour, and he doesn't really go out too much. I mean, now he's out all the time, as you can see. He's totally fine with everything. But at that time, that was probably the second time I'd ever brought him out of the house. So really, not only was it a thing where I thought it would be fun to bring him in, it kind of started with, well, I probably should get him out of the house a little bit. I mean, he's just cooped up in there laying down all day. So, but yeah, I've seen a lot of people, it really brings a smile to their face. They light up. Like I would see people where it's fall camp and they're just walking in, they're kind of like just getting through the day, but then they walk around the corner and Pudge is there and it's like, oh, what's he doing? So I have seen an emotional impact. People have been a lot more joyful around Pudge, and I think as I kept bringing him in, as people kept seeing him, it was like, where's Pudge? What's he doing? Can I see Pudge? Can I bring my girlfriend to your house to see Pudge? You know, like things like that. So I'm like, yeah, of course. He's just hanging out. Of course you can bring everyone over to see him.
I want to shift to a serious side for a moment here. Last year was a really tough year for the Carlson family. Yeah. Your wife, your mother passed away from cancer. And George, talk with us a little bit about how Pudge helped get you through, or is helping you get through this grieving period. And then Dr. Carlson, I'll ask the same on you.
Yeah, for me, he was very special. You know, when that happens, I mean, here, I'm all alone. Like my dad, obviously I call my dad every single day. You know, I talk to my dad all the time. I talk to my sister. So I have a support system, but I live in a single apartment and I'm all alone in there. So I think it really was a good thing for me to have Pudge, because after football, I'm so focused on football, especially snapping. It's very mental. It's such a technical position. Anything mentally going on can cause problems with your snapping if you're not really locked in or you're not all there. So Pudge really was a light in that time, you know, especially because it happened in fall camp. So that happened, and then I come back home and Pudge is there, and every day I open the door and I see his face, and you just can't help but smile. You're like, what are you doing? Or he'd run to the door and he'd like look at you, and then he'd run off to go to the food. Or he has really funny mannerisms. Like he has a very short attention span, so he'll go from like attacking a ping pong ball 1 second, and then 5 seconds later he's like, oh, no, I need to go get some food. And then on his way to the food bowl, he goes, I gotta lick my hand. And then he goes to food, and then he's like, no, I gotta go whack that ping pong ball again. So he kind of has a short attention span, so that was really funny. So I think just how he was, it really put a smile on my face. It made me think about something different in that grieving time, where I was really thinking about my mother and I was really down. He allowed me to kind of just have a smile on my face, kind of get something else in my head at that time and really be able to focus. And I ended up having one of the better seasons of my career that year. So I think it really did have a good impact on me.
Yeah, thank you. And I had read Pudge was a gift from your mother?
Yeah, Pudge was a gift from my mother, yeah. She got him in the summer of 23, because I was talking to her. I was like, man, I love these exotic short hairs. I mean, just look at them. And she's like, okay, we'll get you one. We'll get you one. So she found him, and he was just a perfect match. Ever since we got him, he's been hilarious and amazing.
Yeah, the way you describe him, I think we have an ADHD cat.
Basically, yeah.
So, Dr. Carlson, do you want to share, did you find your many pets, it sounds like you have many, to be an emotional resource for you in your grieving period?
Yes, it was a devastating time, and it's easy to fall into a very dark space and go through depression and anxiety. And animals to us have always been part of our lives for many, many years. And, to have them share that with us, they, like cats, for example, have, when they purr, they have a certain healing frequency that can heal you and bring your level of emotion back up so you can see the future as something that's better or brighter. We have, George had Pudge, but there's one in particular at home that he's a Persian named Chucky, and just the cuteness factor and be able to make you smile versus frown. And so by smiling, it's a different endocrine or hormonal change that makes you happier and can get you through those rough patches, because you're going to have them, unfortunately, and we did. But it was a major part of recovery, I think.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing that. When you mention that about when a cat purrs and it has some endocrinal impact, there are a lot of emotional support animals that are paired with children who have high anxiety, or may not be children, but people with high anxiety or suffering pain, or Alzheimer's patients where, the reports are that it helps to calm them. Share with us, how does that happen, and how does, say, a dog or a cat sense the anxiety, or if someone is in pain, to know how to snuggle or how to reach out or how to help calm them?
Well, I think they connect with our nature. We have both nature in us and nurture. And they connect with the nature part too. And so when they're more connected with nature, they're more connected to the earth. So cats, for example, the healing frequency between 50 and 150 hertz is what their purring frequency is at. So if you're feeling bad, you have a kitty sit in your lap and they start purring, it's in the natural rhythm of your biorhythm. Children that sit on horses, just touching the horse, they match up to that same frequency. And so there's, if you think about music, there's soothing music at a certain frequency, and then there's, a certain music that makes you feel angry, and then there's a music that makes you feel calm. Well, animals have that natural rhythm to calm you. They're always in rhythm with nature.
That's very, very interesting. Here at University Findlay, we often see President Fell will bring Scout, her absolutely wonderful dog, around campus, and watching the students instantly flock to Scout. But I've noticed particularly like when it's opening picnic weekend and freshmen, it's a nerve-wracking time for them, right? And when they see Scout, not only does it help them connect with something where they feel comfortable, but they just kind of seem calmer and more open. So we see it in practice.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah, because it's a natural attraction. It's magnanimous because you see them and you can't help but notice them, because it's in a different aspect of our lives. We're human to human. We're much different, obviously, in our interaction, where it's been said, animals don't care who you are. They don't care how much money you have. They don't care how famous you are. It's unconditional love, and that's why that unconditional love is what really draws you. And I've had pet owners say, you know, it was extremely hard, much harder to lose my cat or dog than it was to lose a human loved one. And I was surprised by that, and it's because animals have unconditional love. We as humans, we sometimes put conditions on our love, where animals don't. They love you regardless. They don't care how you look, how you smell, where you've been. Sometimes they do. I mean, if you've been around another cat, they'll come up and sniff you. Hey, who have you been with? But, but at the same time, that's, I think, what really makes animals so unique is they can draw out the worst in us, or the best in us when we feel the worst, I should say.
That makes sense. And I'm sure you've seen with the number of your patients and their owners, you've seen lots and lots and lots of examples of that. Well, George, you know, the Falcons had kind of a tough year, right? And you had a lot of injuries with some players. Did you, like after a hard loss, did you notice anything in terms of in the locker room, Pudge having a healing effect?
I did notice that. I think it's just such a positive thing in the season that even when we were having our hardships of the season, people were still able to see a positive thing going on. It wasn't all like, why are we losing? Why is this happening? You know, what's going on? It wasn't all negative, which a lot of the times in college football it can end up being because it's such a pressure-filled environment. Mm-hmm. I think Pudge took a lot of that negativity out and allowed it to be more of a positive season, even though we ended up not making a bowl game 4-8. So it was, you know, definitely a tough season, but Pudge definitely had a big impact on the fans and a big impact on the team in a positive way, which was definitely helpful.
Yeah, and a big impact on the nation, actually. Yeah. So let's pivot just briefly here, because I know we want to leave time for a lot of questions. So be thinking of yours. So, George, your NIL, that's the name, image, and likeness opportunities that college players have these days. And you seem to have some real success this year with some NIL contracts. And so can you just briefly tell us what contracts Pudge, or maybe you as his owner, have right now?
Yeah, of course. You know, before I talk about the contracts, I think the biggest thing with Pudge was that there's no cats in college football. So when Pudge was introduced in college football, I think all the pet food brands were like, we gotta go, because college football has such a huge impact and has so much reach to the whole country that if you can get a cat food brand in there, it would be definitely helpful. And Pudge really opened the door for that. And I noticed that with, you know, one big brand that I work with is Temptations, and they also work with the university. So all the signs you see at the games, those all have a Temptations collar on Pudge. He also, when he showed on the board, there's a Temptations logo on there, and then all the billboards that you see are Temptations billboards. So Temptations really enjoyed Pudge, and I also really enjoyed Temptations. That's a brand that I'd been feeding my cats for years, and they absolutely love it. So when I heard that they wanted to work with me, I was like, yes, totally, and they love Pudge too.
So I don't have a cat. So tell me, that's cat food, those are treats, it's all of the above?
That's a treat, but kind of all the above. Temptations used to just be treats, but they started branching out, so now they have cat food, they have toys, they have different sorts of things, so they're kind of a full cat brand now. But the other brands that I've also worked with was Purina, the litter robot. I've worked with
The litter robot?
Yeah, the litter robot. They sent him a litter robot, which was really nice. That he definitely loves that, and that it's like a big bubble. It's new for him. He's used to a normal litter box. It's dark. This one is big, open, circular bubble that has a light in it, so it's very fancy. He's got the Mercedes of litter boxes now.
So did those companies reach out to you, like through the university, but reach out to you, or did you begin to proactively seek contracts for Pudge?
So all the contracts, they've reached out to me through the university or to me personally. Most of it was just from like Instagram DM. I'd go on his Instagram or my Instagram, and it'd be like a DM from Purina, or the other type, like the litter robot was one, Chewy was another one. Different smaller local brands have reached out and they've sent stuff. So my whole house is just filled with boxes of cat food. So if anybody needs any cat treats, I probably have the stockpile for the next 100 years on my house. So, but yeah, it's been amazing. I'm so excited for all
Well, I
that.
can imagine negotiating on behalf of a cat is
Pretty wild.
Strange concept, right?
definitely a resume builder, right?
Yeah.
I negotiated for a cat. How's Pudge respond to very busy days?
He does really well, honestly. He kind of just is always chillaxing.
Yeah.
He just, like right now, this is how he's at in every state, you know? So even on the busy days, he's kind of just relaxed. He's like, oh, it's kind of loud right now. Oh, well. Or they're like, oh, they're picking me up out of the bag again. Everybody's going, oh, it's okay. Like, he doesn't really care. I don't know if he really knows what's going on. He clearly doesn't know his fame. I mean, he's looking out into everybody right now. He's just like, man.
So my last question for you now. So Doreen, you've got the microphone, so be ready to raise your hand with a question here. But what do you think the most valuable thing you have learned through this whole Pudge Mania experience has been? I'm going to ask both of you this, actually. George?
I just think the positive impact has been the best part of it. I think everybody has just loved Pudge, and it's overly positive. I've not seen one negative thing, besides, why are we losing games? That's the only comment I've seen. I'm like, oh, well, I can really do something about that. I snapped the football 8 times. Like, I guess I can only really lose us the game if I mess my job up. So, but everything's really overly positive with Pudge, and that's the best part about it. And as well, like, the community loves him. Every time I go out into the community and do some sort of event, meet and greet, there's a massive crowd or line that shows up, and everybody's just like, I'm so happy you brought him in. You know, there was a birthday party for him earlier this month on November 3rd at the basketball game, and he got a ton of presents, and everybody just came up and was like, I love him, he's been so good for us, like, where are you going after you're done? Like, is Pudge gonna stay? So it's so much positivity and such a loyal fan base around Pudge. That's the cool part about it.
Great, thanks. Dr. Carlson?
Well, it was just going to, like, for example, we went to, when they played Cincinnati this year, you normally think of rivalries as, you know, kind of a love-hate relationship kind of thing. But when we took Pudge around, even to the Bearcat side, they were just going wild and so happy, and it was just bringing 60,000 people together that day. Same way at Louisville, they had a little locker room for him. You know, it's that part, the human-animal bond, but also just bringing humans together, making us feel happier, and, you know, because the world is disruptive. It's stressful. But when an animal can bring us together like that, it's pretty amazing.
That is.
There's hope.
Yeah, truly amazing. All right. Well, first, let's give them a round of applause. And we'll now begin questions. So who has a question for Pudge, or his owners, or Grandpa?
I have a question for is it on? Okay. For Dr. Carlson. Our nephew is a graduate of the University of Findlay, pre-vet, and while at the Ohio State University, he had a rescue dog come in that they were going to do surgery on, and he thought it would be a good match for my husband and I. We were seeking a pet. And that match was priceless. His understanding of my husband and I's personality, what we were looking for in a dog, was, the match was, I can't even explain it. We had that dog for 17 years. Wow. When I retired, I'm retired now, and I always wanted to go into the hospital and do pet therapy. How do you match a pet with someone? Does the pet get matched with me, or do I get a pet and then train them? I don't understand that process. And what are the therapy resources that I can go to? I'm sure there's a variety, and they're all probably very different based upon the needs that Findlay would need. So how do you match a pet with me?
Great question. Yeah, either way, really, because there are companies that have already trained the therapy animals, or you can choose. Like, we had a golden retriever named Blanche, and golden retrievers are one of the top therapy dogs, Labradors as well. There are others. I don't want to discriminate against it, even your pets over there. But it's really who you bond with. But then also there are classes in companies that do the pet therapy, and they're all very good that I've experienced. And they will walk you through that process. But that also solidifies the bond. Like George was talking, with doing more and more with Pudge, he's bonding more and more with Pudge, and Pudge is bonding with him. So it's really a choice that you make which pet, and you'll feel that in your heart.
Thank you. Next question. Right over here.
Hi, this is Dr. Carlson. Speaking of cats purring or chatting a moment ago, what actually makes them purr? It's not their breathing. What does it
That's a great question. There's a mechanism in the back of their throat that vibrates as they're breathing in and out. It's sort of like, I guess, the bagpipes in a way, is that they have the ability to keep the air moving through their vocal cords to create that purring response. And they can do it it's almost like whistling, and they can do it at will, They do it under their own stress to calm them down. When cats purr in the clinic, I would say, well, are they relaxed? Do they like it here? Well, not necessarily, but they are purring to reduce stress, but they also purr out of happiness. And but that's the mechanism behind that and it's unique to cats. It's to my knowledge, I don't know of any other species that does that.
Next question.
I have a question. My question is for George. What are your plans now that you're done with school, and what's the future plans for Pudge?
So for me, I'm going to go pursue professional football. I really think that I have the form and technique to do it. I think the biggest thing for me is building more athleticism, which is probably for every single long snapper, because we're not the most athletic people. But that's what I will do. But I also obviously continue to do Pudge events. I absolutely love doing them. Every time I do it, I see such a positive impact in the community. I don't know where he thinks he's going.
That will come up.
Come out to
But
the crowd.
I really enjoy it. So I think if there are any events or whenever BG wants me around, I'm happy to, don't jump out of there, come on. I'm happy to come around and do everything. And as well, I'll be working with my dad. So for me to be able to pursue professional football, it's a big, kind of like a 3-year process of trying to work in for specialists, because there's only 32 starting specialists. There's not extra backups or anything. Maybe you get on a practice squad, but it's 3 to 5 years of just training, working until you finally stick. So I have the ability to do work that's really flexible because I can work with my dad at our vet clinic and then as well work on Pudge stuff. So it allows me to do kind of everything.
Do you want to say what exactly is a long snapper?
Yeah, so a long snapper, a lot of people don't know it.
Asking for a friend, by the way.
A lot of people don't know that, and believe me, I didn't know it until I learned that I could do it in college. So it's basically you just snap any of the longer snaps. So the center snaps to the quarterback, that's like 5 yards. Anything that's over that, so like 10, 8, 15, that's what the long snapper does. So anything on punt and field goal, that's what a long snapper does. And on those punt, there's different responsibilities. Both of them you block, but field goal, you're kind of just standing in, staying strong, trying to just keep a base because it's such a quick play. The up time's 1.3 seconds, and that's slow. It's usually 1.25. And on punt, your responsibility is basically blocking. So you snap, you have to get up right away, and you're blocking somebody in your A-gaps. So it's a really fun position, and it's very, very interesting because it's very technical. It's like pitching in baseball almost. It's very, very technical, and that's why as well having a cat for support emotionally is perfect for me because I always need to stay in a good, calm mindset or else it could hinder my performance on the field.
Sure, that makes sense. Thanks. Who else? Right over here.
For Dr. Carlson. As animals age and are part of our family, do you recommend introducing a younger pet, knowing that somebody's going to have to take?
Do you know, I'm sorry, one second, we can barely hear you. Is that on?
Yeah.
Doreen, can you?
Okay, is it on?
No. Can we get a little more juice for that mic here?
Yeah. You know what? Maybe just speak really loudly while they hopefully turn that up.
Yeah.
We can't hear the traveling mic. It seems to be low. Okay.
Okay, as a pet in your family ages, and they are part of your family, do you recommend introducing a new young pet into the picture because you know somebody's going to have to take your place eventually, not somebody, but something. And is it good for the animal as they age and are really in their senior year to have a younger buddy to train also, and also for the family?
I think, yeah, it is better for them. In some cases, if they've been an only pet, it's a little bit more challenging because they've been independent of another pet in the household. For cats, older cats, usually introducing a kitten versus an adult cat is often better because it brings out kind of the nurturing instinct, but also the curiosity and the playfulness. In the case of dogs, puppies can do the same. It's also important if you're going to consider introducing is maybe having a friend who has a pet of similar age, bring it over to have a brief introduction to see how compatible they would be with having another pet in the house. And it kind of fits with even like pet therapy. I've had owners say, yeah, my dog or cat was acting very, very quiet, seemed like they weren't very healthy anymore. We got a new pet, and suddenly all this life came back out in them. So it can be therapeutic for them too.
Great. We'll take one final question. So I'll ask it then, if no one else has. Dr. Carlson, you focus primarily now on holistic veterinary, or as a holistic veterinarian. I think that's a new term for many people. Can you share what that is?
For sure. And, the conventional medicine is more looking at treating the symptoms. So pet has an emergency or is vomiting or diarrhea or those things. A conventional medicine treats the symptom. The holistic medicine, at least from my perspective, and integrated medicine looks at, okay, I've got the pet out of the emergency, but what caused it? Looking for the root cause. So between holistic testing or a specific type of examination can offer insight as to how to prevent recurrence and also prevent chronic disease, which reduces inflammation and encourages longevity. And that's why I went into it.
And you do this much like with holistic medicine, including the diet, what they take in, any exercises, anything like that?
Mm-hmm. The whole aspect from nutrition to environment to exercise to certain supplements. I do an analysis called a bioscan, which is unique to our practice and unique really to the U.S. I don't know of very many veterinarians who use it. There are a lot of chiropractors will use it for human medicine. But it looks at the biofield itself and determines where the weakness and stress is. And by balancing that, you're encouraging self-healing, but also encouraging longevity. So what I found through the years, and I've been using that technology since 2012, is I start to see more 15-plus-year-old animals that are still biologically active and not just old, and acting sick. They're actually still playing. We're reversing certain cancers with it, and at least providing some, maintaining basic function and securing a better quality of life, even though they have a chronic disease.
Very interesting. I know we have some of our pre-vet faculty here today, and obviously a whole lot of pet lovers, so that's very interesting. Well, our time has unfortunately expired, but I think we have all learned a great deal today about pets as therapy and what a long snapper is. So join me once again, please.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We have a little special gift for you guys here.
Oh, wow.
I was told that this one is for you, Jim, and this one contains some extra special things for you and One more round of applause. Thank you guys for coming. This has been wonderful. Will there be a few minutes for selfies, photos, paw prints, something along those lines? Yeah. All right, very good. Thank you all for coming out to our Fridays at Findlay. This will be the last one for this year. I know you're sad, but next year there'll be more, so keep an eye out for that. And we'll have some more fantastic topics like this. I also wanted to say thank you, all of you. Many of you in this room are supporters of the University of Findlay, and we are so grateful for all that you've done, time, talent, and treasure. This is that season of giving. If you are interested, we can help you make gifts towards the university to support interesting and exciting things like our Fridays at Findlay and many other areas. The University of Findlay exists as a private institution because of our donors, and we are grateful for that. So thank you all at this time of giving for all that. And again, keep an eye out for our next topic coming up somewhere here in January or February. We'll have some more exciting things for you to come and be a part of on Friday mornings. Thank you so much. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays. See you all in the new year.